Hi, this is your Houston chiropractor, Dr. Gregory Johnson, a ChiroTrust member, and this is this week's Game of Bones winners of their names and the smartest questions asked on our YouTube videos. So if you haven't continued to think about a smart spine question to ask, think of a good question to ask, and here's the winners for this week. Inax Esto Volucrius. I'm sorry if I mispronounced all that. It says, had surgery and got a disc removed between C4 and C5 with a titanium cage implant back in 2011. Can I get my spine decompressed, or are there any restrictions? I live in Denmark and am using a chiro, but none of them offer the same effective treatment techniques that you do, which is me. Thank you for the compliment, by the way. We treat patients who have spinal fusion with instrumentation and decompress their spines all the time. If the spine has healed up enough and has fused completely, that unit moves, C5 and C6 would just move as one unit as opposed to separating those. So we don't tear the cage out, or we don't tear the screws or the plates or the pins out that you have in your spine. Those are fused together and move as one unit. The spinal decompression is an adjustment. I actually feel the joints moving and the ligamentous integrity of the joints when I make the adjustment on there. You know, it might look like I'm doing the same thing to everybody, but it's not. It's different feels for different patients. Ligaments hold bone to bone, and the popping noise that you're hearing is at the end of the joint range of motion. This is active range of motion. Somebody else pushing my head here is passive range of motion. And then that extra little space where you hear the pop from the nitrous gas buildup from the synovial joints, and that's the synovial fluid creating the gas buildup in the joints, is called the paraphysiological space, and that's when we make the final adjustment, when it's at tension, to the maximum range of motion and the integrity of the ligament of that joint. And then you hear the crack or the cavitation. So all you crack addicts, you're really cavitation addicts, and it's coming from a nitrous gas bubble in the synovial joints. And we have synovial joints everywhere. Our fingers. And no, it does not cause arthritis to pop your fingers so long as you're not traumatizing them sideways or backwards. And it doesn't cause arthritis anywhere in your body to crack your joints unless you're traumatizing those joints or you're spraining them. You're going beyond the integrity of the ligament, beyond that paraphysiological space, then you sprain ligaments. That's why I don't do that lateral side posture adjustment very much, because it creates ligamentous laxity, and then you gotta always want to pop your back and neck all the time. Okay, so we're gonna get back to the Game of Bones winner. Ashley Abrams asked, my daughter is 7 and just started 2nd grade. She is having trouble focusing in school since kindergarten, and medical doctors have told us that they want to wait till she is older to diagnose. Well, that's nice. But we think she has ADD and ADHD. But before we go to the medicine route, we'd like to know, is it possible to manage her ADHD with chiropractic care alone? Thanks, Ashley. Ashley, that's a question that has a multifaceted answer, and the best answer I can give you is that chiropractors don't treat ADD or ADHD or dyslexia or hiatal hernia or stomach cancer or ulcers or any diseases themselves or diagnose them we diagnose spinal biomechanical improprieties or subluxations in the spine that create neurological interference that supplies every organ, muscle, tissue, and cell in the body. And if you have spinal misalignments or subluxations that create neurological interference, you can develop other conditions and disease processes along the way over time. So an adjustment itself realigns the biomechanics of the spine and the extremities, but also influences the nervous system in a positive way. We're taking care of a little boy who his parents brought him in. How old is Angel now?
He just turned...
It's like 7 or 8?
Yeah, 7.
Okay, so he's about the same age. They brought him in like 3 years ago. He was getting D's, E's, and F's in school, and they diagnosed him with ADD and ADHD and dyslexia. We started adjusting him, and within 6 months, I'm not saying we were treating his ADD or ADHD, but we started adjusting his spine, and within 6 months, his grades went from D's, E's, and F's to A's, all straight A's now. He's getting straight A's now in every single class. His family brings him in here to get adjusted once every couple weeks or so, and he maintains his spinal integrity and his neurological peak performance, is the way I like to put it. When your spine is lined up and you have full flowing nervous system without interference, you are going to function at a higher level of efficiency in everything, including your brain function. And then we've got a question from DNLK. How much would physical adjustments like a chiro does help for chronic chest pain and back pain caused by PTSD? Well, DNLK, I'm not sure that PTSD actually causes chest and back pain. PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. Stress is a fight or flight response. It can create a havoc in your autonomic nervous system, which when you have that, you can get a myriad of symptoms with that. But I'm not saying that that's the cause of your chest pain or back pain. When you have chest pain, you always want to rule out cardiac issues. We do. We send people out to cardiologists and have stress tests done, echocardiograms done, even heart caths done if it's severe enough. And we make sure that their intact circulatory system is good, and that's not the reason they're having chest pains. So differential diagnosis is that you want to rule out any pathology by doing the proper diagnostics or proper referrals to the proper appropriate physicians for that. So in this case, cardiologist for chest pain. But again, same thing in answering Ashley's question is we adjust the biomechanics of the spine, remove nerve interference, and that's when the body starts functioning at a higher level of efficiency and therefore in a better state of health and wellness. And then our last question is Rick Bauer. Some DCs say they can put a herniated disc back into place and can't read all my writing down at the bottom of the page here, back into place, and others say they adjust to ease the pain, and also ask about spondylolisthesis. Well, we adjust patients in here that have bulged disc, herniated disc, degenerative disc disease. The disc is the little shock absorber pad in between the vertebrae, and it acts as a cushion, if you will, so that when gravity's compressive stresses on the spine, or you're getting compression in your body by doing type of kinetic activity, that the disc acts as a shock absorber pad. I call them the tires, because if you have a vehicle, let's use this analogy, if you have a vehicle and you're driving your vehicle along with the front end misaligned on it, what's going to wear and tear fastest on your front end? The tires and the front end parts. The tires are your disc, and the parts are your joints of the spine. And then you can start getting what's called spondylosis, which is a degenerative joint disease condition, degenerative osteoarthritis. Those are all synonymous terms. Degenerative disc disease. You're wearing and tearing your tires and your front end parts if you're misaligned in your front end, or in the case of your rear end down here, you're misaligning the front end part, rear end parts, and your disc, the tires down there as well. And they degenerate, they get smaller. That makes the nerve opening smaller. That causes nerve pressure to be more prevalent in people, and that can cause a myriad of different symptoms such as radiculopathy or sciatica. Somebody asked a question, I didn't even want to mention their name because they said that I just throw out all these big words all the time and I'm full of BS. Well, you can look all these things up that I'm saying, and they are all in the medical dictionaries and science literature that you can think about. So anyway, we've got 4 new names that we're putting in here for our final drawing of our Game of Bones contest for the people who get us the most subscribers on YouTube, as well as ask the most intelligent questions. And I also have another little challenge for you now. I want to see who can stump me on any spinal question at all. I've been doing this for 36 years. I go to postgraduate education courses and review the scientific literature all of the time. My mentor is the smartest guy on the planet, Dr. Dan Murphy out in Danville, California. Not Danville, that's Ben. He's up in Auburn, California. But he is the smartest chiropractor on the planet. I learned from him, and he goes to UC Davis Library and goes through every single research article written every Tuesday, and I stay current with him all the time. And so we challenge you to ask me a question that you think you can stump me on. And if you can stump me on a question, I'll mention your name on the YouTube video and put you in the YouTube winner's box for our Game of Bones. This is your Houston chiropractor, also a ChiroTrust member since 2012, coming to you from Advanced Chiropractic Relief in Houston, Texas. And thank you for subscribing, watching, sharing our videos on social media, and commenting. Intelligent comments. And be nice to the women that come here. Thank you all, and we'll see you next time. Love you.